Well, g'day guys, Matt here, Auto 1 Browns Plains.
And as always, I'm Lachlan. It's good to see you guys again.
And we're back.
Yeah.
It's been a little while.
Well, it's been a while since we did our last service video, but we're back. We're going to try something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Today we might talk about some of the good car news about in the world, as well as some of the safety tips and some of the new products Matt's got down here as well. So try a new format. And
yeah.
Hopefully.
I think it'll be good, and look, we're open to feedback, so if you guys have ideas or anything that you want us to talk about.
Yep, we only brainstormed this up 5 minutes ago, so
yeah.
If there's anything we can improve, then just let us know.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you take it away. We'll talk about some news items.
Yeah, well, actually, I heard an interesting one a couple of weeks ago, probably approaching a couple of months ago. A new car breaking the highest auction sale record. An old Mercedes 300 SLR. Yeah, 143 million Australian dollars.
Oh, those Australian dollars. Wow,
well,
that's a lot.
With the conversion rate, but
yeah,
it's kind of an interesting story. I don't think I'd pay that much for a car, but one of two ever made. And a car that was made for the 1955 racing season with Mercedes.
Yep.
Which their racing program was unfortunately cancelled due to a massive crash in 55.
Yeah.
And then apparently one guy from the design team got to drive this home from work each day.
He snagged one, hey?
Yeah.
Probably got it on the cheap.
Well, very cheap, and now it's a $143 million car.
$143 million, that's a lot.
Yeah, just unbelievable.
Wow. Yeah, I remember like Ferrari P4 selling for, I don't know, was it like 20 or so, maybe US million, and maybe some Cobras around that sort of price range as well. But
250 GTO that sold for 25 or 30, but
this is a real breakthrough, isn't it?
Well, over double the last record, I believe.
Wow, okay.
So, a huge step up.
And Cars and Coffee, last Saturday morning, there was an SL there as well, Gullwing.
Yeah, there
SLR?
was. I don't know what they call it.
I have to check it, but we'll throw pictures up of both of these. You got to check these cars out.
Yep. And that 300 at the Cars and Coffee awaiting a fresh restoration this coming year. So.
Yeah, I mean, it already looked good.
Yeah, it looked. I don't know why they do it. It looked like a perfect survivor car.
Yeah. No, very cool. And I'm not sure if you've guys seen, but there's a show on Netflix about Carlos Ghosn, the old CEO of Nissan and Renault, and you got to hear the story. This guy, he so they sort of saw what he was doing as being fraudulent.
Yeah, he was like embezzling from Nissan and Renault.
Yeah, they both had cases against him. Yeah. So both in France and Japan, and they both wanted him. He landed in Japan, and their police were waiting for him, and they chucked him in a cell. Yeah.
Now, isn't it true that he escaped Japan in a suitcase and is now basically living on the lam? He's in exile or on
yeah, pretty much so. In this series, they described it as being like a violin sort of suitcase. It was big. I've also heard rumours it's like a piano sort of case, but a big case nonetheless. And he planned it while he was out on bail, and they snuck him in this case. They timed it for when there were inexperienced people at the airport, so it didn't get x-rayed and all that sort of stuff. And he jumped on this case. He spent the flight through Russia, and it sort of looped around. They were choosing all the international air sort of zones that were suitable for not being extradited. Yeah. And flew around to Lebanon.
Quite incredible.
Amazing story. Yeah.
I still don't believe that no one picked it up that he was in a violin case that whole time.
Maybe they paid some people off, hey?
They might, at the airport, someone got an extra $100 that day.
Yeah. But no, this guy was living a lavish life. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, and you don't expect that from something a practical car manufacturer like Nissan.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's more something that the Renault CEO might do.
That's it.
Yeah.
When in France.
We got some other things to talk about today as well.
Where shall we start? Well, this is almost another news item, really. Yeah. You're talking about the Toyota one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something that surprised me when I heard about it a couple of years ago. And to be sure, it's not it's not the most new news, but it's definitely one that I bring up with people all the time as a mechanic, and still shocks them. But talking about Toyota's humongous, absolutely ginormous floor mat recall. So in Toyotas of a certain vintage, I believe it was through the 90s and mid 2000s,
Yep.
they had the driver's floor mat would not clip in and could slide forward and back in the vehicle and get entangled in the pedals. Absolutely tragic thing, which actually brings us to our safety tip of the day. So if you've got a car, I'm sure you do if you're watching this, but if you've got a car, run out to your car and check the driver's floor mat. If it doesn't clip in or it isn't fitted properly, and it can slide forward and backwards, I would recommend talking to the team down here at Auto One about getting a pair of fitted floor mats.
Yeah, so there are your normal universal floor mats, but you can also get vehicle-specific ones. So in our current catalogue, we've got the 3D mats, and here's a little example for you, and these are perfect for your car. So I just had this little demo unit to show you that. So these are good ones that stay in place. But also, now this is one by Sperling, and rubber mats, they got a bit of weight to them. But they do have the drivers locked down on them. So if I just flip this around and you can see an image, the packaging sort of stops me from showing you on the actual product, but have a look down there. It's got the spot there, your spot there for connecting up the floor mat so it doesn't slide around. And funnily enough, this one's on a Toyota as well, Toyota Land Cruiser 200 series.
Yeah, well, these actually look like a really nice mat as well. That's easily a 5 or a 7 mil thick rubber, so very durable. And to have a rear mat that completely covers the trans tunnel is a really nice feature as well.
Yeah,
that's going to stop, especially in the Land Cruisers. A lot of those came with beige coloured carpers.
Yep.
That's going to stop a lot of...
yeah, on a car like that, it's going to get dirty quick, hey?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can tell you on my car, I've got a loose floor mat, and I was going to use the excuse, you know, if I had a Toyota and had a speeding fine, I could say that maybe the floor mat slid on top of the accelerator, and it's their fault, not mine.
Well, I mean, that might be a good excuse, but when it all goes wrong, it's quite a sad day.
Yeah. So need to fix that one. So yeah, look, there are options. Just need to have a chat to the team, and we can guide you in the right direction.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wanted to talk about a couple of service-related products. So we've got Nulon and Ryco's items here. Let's start with the Nulon range. So
yeah, you were telling me before that the Nulon's just brought out this new series of X minus or X Apex oils.
Well, let me start from the start. So picture it like a good, better, best range. You've got their good, better, best. I'm colourblind, so I'm not going to talk about colours. I'm going to talk about names. So you've got Nulon X Protect. That is their entry-level product. It'll be at great prices. You've got the Nulon X Pro. And this is a popular one for the guys out at track. This is a 25W60, so if you're out there...
That's almost around a BMW weight, isn't it?
Well, you're the expert. And then we've got the Apex Plus, so that's your top of the range as well. So options there for your cars. They do vary. They do have different additives put in them, so you'll find that these ones here will have the best and the most additives in them. But they're really guided by what's specific for your car, what's suited for your car, and you'll find that Lachlan and us here at Auto One, we've got the ability to search and work out which one Nulon is recommending for your car.
Yeah, and look, most of the modern oil manufacturers now actually have an app or a website that you can visit, and you can get the recommendations straight from them. But oil in particular is a massive part of keeping a new car running and running well, and really getting the right weight for a start. So a 5W30 or a 10W40 or something like that is a big thing. And then additionally the additives. So you might find actually that a lot of manufacturers won't warrant a car that has an oil with the wrong additives in it still. So that's quite an interesting thing. And the additives nowadays can be for things like friction modifying, so that's increasing the lubrication factor, or reducing the amount of soot and ash that gets into the oil. So that's a big thing for GM products.
Yep. So is it Dexos or something like that? Is that GM?
I'm not sure. I believe Dexos is the GM way of categorizing oils.
Yeah, gotcha.
So they use Dexos, and I believe AC Delco creates a lot of their products, but you might actually find that AC Delco is just another brand in a fancy bottle.
Yeah, so from what I gather, these companies, they'll put their additive packs in there, and they'll do oils that will cover a range of cars, and they'll have ones that cover GM cars, and they'll start putting the logos of the different ones that they cover on here. So this one here is a Dexos one, GM approved Gen 2. So Nulon have put the additive in this oil, and they've gone out there to get it tested and approved for that Dexos rating.
Yeah.
It's not just them, it's VW, it's BMW, it's most, if not all, of the manufacturers doing things like this.
And on top of that, especially as a car gets older, these lightweight oils might not necessarily be the best fit for your car. Once you're getting outside of warranty, it's always good to talk to either someone like Matt at Auto One, or to the manufacturer directly, and see if there's a better recommended oil for your car as well. For example, if you start out on an 020 weight, which is a very thin oil.
Yep. A lot of new Toyotas on the 020. Yep.
Or even 016, which I can't believe exists.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yep.
If you start out on an 020 weight and you've got 200,000 Ks on a car, say if you're a taxi driver or something, you might want to step up to a 1030.
Yep.
Just as the internals of the engine get a little bit worn, that little bit of thicker oil helps cushion any impact between bearings and metal, which really helps extend the life of a car.
There you go. That's a good tip.
Yeah.
And ways to pick when you might need this. Would it be like a bit of smoke out of the exhaust or something like that?
Yeah, a bit of smoke out of the exhaust is a good one. Actually, the best way to know whether you need to look at a better oil solution for your car is how fast it burns through the oil after a service.
Yep.
So if you're burning a litre every 5,000 kilometres, something like that, or if you're going from the high spot on the dipstick to the low spot on the dipstick every 5,000 kilometres, you might like to step up the oil just a little bit.
Okay, all right, that's a good tip. Now, we might talk about it another time, but Nulon do a race oil as well, and then there's a program that goes along with it where you can actually take a sample of the oil, you send it away to their tech team, they'll assess it, they'll see what's popping up, what metals are popping up in there or whatever it might be, and then they will send you that assessment, and we'll talk you through it as well.
We might have to try that. We might actually have to do that on the work ute, because that's got 332,000 Ks on it as of this morning. So it'll be very interesting to see just how worn out it is inside. Another interesting thing from Nulon though, now I've been hearing about this for a long time, and as a mechanic, this product really makes me happy. It's Nulon's new Easy Squeeze bag. If you've ever done differential oil or gearbox oil or transfer case oil on your car, you'll understand what a nightmare it can be with a traditional bottle. Nulon's come out with this product which you attach a straw to and you squeeze the bag until it's full. Perfect. I think it's a great product. I think it really blows everyone else out of the water.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing a diff the other day, and we were sort of trying to find a little home to get the bottle. It wasn't this style, but we were trying to find a home to get the bottle, and we were lucky enough we could have. But some other cars not so easy.
and definitely not with a lot of Subarus and a lot of independent rear axles.
You just like complaining about Subarus, eh?
They're one of my favourite cars, but they do give me some troubles. But even the independent rear suspension stuff, like the Falcons, it can be quite difficult to do. The one thing that I do, personally, I get a little concerned about this is being a light plastic bag, how recyclable it is. So maybe we can talk to Nulon in the future and see what happens.
Good question.
But I haven't seen anything on the bag just yet, so...
No, okay. All right, well, that's a good question. I hadn't thought about that. And the other thing is they come in these 1 litre bags, so you're doing multiple litres. Where in the past you would have bought like a 4 litre or 2.5 litre bottle. you're grabbing multiples of these things. But its convenience makes up for that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Good product. Oil filters. So we're talking about oil servicing.
Should always
oil filters.
This is one of my my biggest pain points as a mechanic is putting a decent oil filter on our car. Now, Ryco's not always the brand that we use, but we do use it on occasion.
Yeah. For the most part, we use Ryco and Westville here in the store.
Yep. And you might actually find that Ryco and Westville are owned by the same parent company. So
GUD.
The guys at Ryco might not like to advertise it so much.
Yeah.
But they have a similar structure to their company. And I kind of trust the Westville products a fair bit as well. But Ryco's come out with, in the last few years, this synthetic media oil filter, Matt. Do you want to tell us a little bit about...
testing my knowledge. So it is a better filter. Sometimes we will compare filters and we'll weigh them both just to see which one's got more material in it.
Yep.
But this one here, it's got a synthetic material in it. So its service intervals are 15,000 kilometres, so extended service intervals, and it'll also pick up a finer micron of particle going through it. So it's filtering more basically. So less particles going through your engine, longer engine life, cooler temperatures, would you say?
I wonder about these filters a little bit. Now, I appreciate the synthetic media and I appreciate the extended service life, but I do wonder, because Ryco also recommends the standard series
Yep.
for a lot of vehicles with a 15,000 kilometre interval. It's not to say this isn't a better filter, and especially if you're going over your service recommended service interval regularly, which I see a fair bit of nowadays.
Yep.
This might be a good filter for you. And it's actually got some really nice features that I've just noticed when you've pulled it out of the box.
Yep.
A really lovely matte, non-slip finish.
Yeah, easy to work with, right?
If you're going to do a service on your own car, and I know that you're probably going to get covered in oil, like we all do, a non-slip filter, that's a brilliant idea. And a synthetic media with a really good internal bypass valve, that's two big pluses from me.
Yep.
But I think for Matt and I, where we're going to change the oil in our car very regularly, the normal filter will do.
Yeah, we're probably doing every 2,000 or 5,000 Ks or something like that, whereas it's saying 15. But you know, we're enthusiasts, and we like doing it. So
if you've got a high performance motor, that synthetic material might be a really good option for you as well. Just protecting the oil, and protecting the engine. I wonder personally if the smaller synthetic material gives it a better chance of getting blocked up if it's picking up more material.
Yep. Well, I think these are good questions we're going to take to Ryco.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
Well, you've got a good partnership with them, so let's see what they come back with. And, they're usually pretty happy to answer questions.
Yeah, no, those guys are great. Great customer service at Ryco. You'll find that they'll have like a 1300, 1800 number, and they'll answer your questions.
Yeah, and just like Nulon and the other big oil brands, they've also got a really good oil filter selector.
The oil companies are unreal. Like Nulon, Penrite, those guys, they do a great job. They'll have someone there that can they'll check your vehicle for you, and they'll give you advice. And they're awesome. Yeah. Well, guys, I think we've drawn to the end of this episode, but we're open to suggestions, and if you want to check something out, you're after some great mechanic advice from Lachlan. So Lachlan's from Kashi, is out there. He's doing this every day. He's got a team as well out there. So it's like a mobile service.
Yeah, we're a mobile only service at the moment, but we tend to work on some very strange cars, and being mobile, we actually get to do a lot of diagnosis as well. So that's when a car's broken down and they don't yet want to tow it. So it keeps us plenty busy doing that. But yeah, I've got a big passion personally for product design as well. So understanding how these things work it's a big plus for us, and it means that we can provide a great service.
Awesome. All right. Well, signing out. Until next time, guys. Catch ya.
Have a good week.
Yeah, likewise.